This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching. This is the Burton step-on binding. It's been a while since I've reviewed it, so I thought I'd reunite myself with it and give it more of an extensive test instead of the frantic manic demo dash. So I spent a couple days on these. I put on the step-ons and the photon boa and tried them on the Burton Hometown Hero. That was just too much response for me. It made the Hometown Hero too fast and too twitchy. Wasn't really filming at this point, was trying to get to know these bindings and get comfortable without having to carry a wand. Then I decided that I was gonna do the test with a slower turning board for me, and I've been testing the Yes Ghost lately, so I got on that. And that's where I did a whole day of testing with, first off, the Photon and the regular step-on binding. Then the step-on X and the Photons, and then I finished off with my SLX and my Atlas just to see how it all felt. So let me give you a quick summary. I say don't get these for the convenience of on and off. I say get these if you want excessive response, because I found nothing like it in the industry. And if you want the quick on and off, it's better than any other quick release binding I've tried. Personally for me, I'm happy with regular bindings like the Cartel X, the Union Atlas, and others. That's where I'm most comfortable with because I like the adjustability, I like the straps, I like that feel better. But if you're somebody who wants response and to just get off the chair and just step on and go, then these could work. As far as weight goes, it's heavier here and lighter here than your average Burton binding, but it feels pretty close. As far as the Highback Flex goes, it's pretty stiff. There's almost no give going back and almost no twist. But in comparison to the X, which are a little lighter and so much stiffer, there's barely any twist. I can't even get it to twist, and there's just nothing give-wise. And I feel like I'd hurt myself if I pushed it any further trying to get that thing to give. Now, in terms of flex underfoot and buttering, you have reflex going on here. This is a really hard plastic. It's not like your typical EVA foam in most Burton reflex bindings on the bottom here. So it has a little less give, but it was still a very easy binding to make the board flex underfoot a little bit easier, but it didn't feel terribly easy to butter. And I don't think it was from the reflex. I think it's because your boots stuck to the high back. With a traditional binding like a Cartel or a Cartel X, you can kind of move your boot this way and that way with the board to kind of butter it. And I felt really locked in here, and it was a very different feel, and it was tough to get used to. I'm still not quite used to it, and I definitely prefer being in, let's say, a Malavita or a Cartel X instead, because those have easier flex underfoot, a little bit easier, and you can leverage out with your foot and get an easy butter or nose press, etc. As far as turn initiation and response goes, there is nothing like this. This is just so responsive, so fast, edge to edge, and it's just nuts. It overpowered the Burton Hometown Hero so much that it almost wasn't fun to ride it just with the Photon and the regular. It felt too twitchy. It made the Yes Ghost feel twitchy too, which is wider underfoot over the bindings, and then the Hometown Hero, and it just felt almost too responsive for my taste. I would be much happier with a Cartel X or my trusty old Union Atlas on these boards than these. It was too much response for me. But if you love a lot of response, then these could work, because it's about the most responsive binding I've ever tried in my life. Paired up with almost any boot in Burton's line. Even the Ions would be more responsive. The Photons I have are pretty stiff and responsive boots. Even going with the Swath or the ruler, you would get a lot of response as well. As far as shock absorption and dampness goes, it's very much like a lot of Burton reflex bindings. You have a nice shock absorbent heel pad here. This is a little less shock absorbent, but you have some EVA foam. Because of this hard area here, it's usually soft EVA foam underneath, but they've stiffened it up here to, I guess, give you even more response than you need. I think it's almost too responsive. I would love to see EVA foam here. As far as support goes, there isn't a ratchet system, there isn't straps. You just get on and off. And you step in, you hit this lever, you pop out. It's really easy. It's really simple. It's amazing how quick it is. It's faster than any of the other quick release bindings. You don't have to reach down around behind you and try to find that and pull it up. It's a very awkward thing. With this, you just step down. It snaps into place. Sometimes you have to put a little more pressure down here to get these to sink in, but that's it. You just go. And then when you're done, you just pop this lever, and it's kind of an awkward step out, but it's doable with a little practice, and it's so fast, it's so quick, and it's so supportive. Being locked into this Highback is more supportive to me, especially with stiffer boots like the Photons, maybe not as much with the rulers. Sometimes I felt like the rulers could get a little too soft on the front, so you're stuck in the back there, and as you lean forward, the front kind of flexes forward and it's a weird feeling. But with Photons or Ions or something like that, it's so locked in that when you lean forward, this is like pulling your toe side, pulling you into the toe side turn, and I just felt so powerful on my toe side carves. I felt like I could just carve harder with these. So that's a real cool positive with the support and the feel that you have here, and you feel really locked in. That's what I would say, just excessively locked in. More locked in than almost any other binding boot combo I've ever tried in my life. It's like adding a strap, a third strap along the top, and just making everything stick together. It's interesting. So for some, you might not like that. For others, you might. When it comes to adjustability, this is kind of a loss. You really have nothing here. First off, the boot to binding adjustability is average with Burton bindings already, with most of their reflex line, but it's even less with this. This is subpar. So if you're into adjustability, you're not gonna like this. You have an interesting thing going on here though. You have size indicators for the little slider here for your gas pedal. So you can go 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, and 10.5 share the same one. So I think that's kind of cool. And it's great for them to tell you where to put that. But then you have a problem here. The disc only has 2 spots. So you're moving up and down a little bit, but you only have 2 small spots for EST and 2 small spots for traditional disc bindings. It's all done with the same disc though. That's cool. You don't have to trade out a bunch of discs, but you don't have that ability to really adjust this binding and get it centered on board, or get your boot centered in the binding if you're on the smaller side of the sizing spectrum, like an 8.5, or the bigger side, like a 10, 10.5. You're just never gonna be able to center this correctly on the board. So one side, the heel might be a little further out, or the toe might be a little further out. But that's kind of frustrating for somebody like me who loves to adjust. So, and it could be frustrating for you. If you're more of a plug and play person, you might not care. One thing though, you can't turn these discs sideways and slide them this way, even get a few millimeters extra one way or the other. If you go Burton, Endeavor, some signal boards, you're gonna be fine because you have infinite adjustability with the channel. If you're going with a board like the Ghost or the other 98% of the industry out there that has regular disc inserts, you're gonna have trouble getting the stance width you want. For example, I could not center this board and get my stance width. I wanted a 21 to 21.5 and I had to do a 20.5. That was the best with this because you really have to go a full 20 millimeters each way, and it was very frustrating, very hard for me to get the stance width I want. So make sure you have the reference stance centered on board if you're riding an all mountain board like I was, and you get the right setback too, because that can be a problem. But overall, get these bindings if you want response. You want to carve really hard, you want to get a bigger, wider board, go really fast, and still have this amazing response to be able to overpower that board and make it turn faster than you could ever possibly imagine. That would be cool. Or if you just love to bomb, then that could work. And if you just want convenience, yeah, maybe get the softest boot like the Swath or the Ruler, pair it up with this, and just have convenience of easy on and off, better than all the other bindings out there. And that's why we recommend these, despite their adjustability issues and their weirdness in terms of response. They're just the best choice, because you're really actually getting some extra stuff that you wouldn't with a traditional disc binding. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now, if you need advice, fill out the Me Harmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.